Hey, it's the Tuesday show. I'm Ultra David. That's James.
How's everybody going? Making sure everyone can hear us right now.
So we have topics today including Under Night in Birth. We'll talk about Strongstyle and the Masters series.
Yes.
We'll talk about results from Comic-Con and from Hong Kong. We'll talk about teams imploding. We didn't do the actual regular Tuesday show last week. We just did an Evo recap.
Right. So there's about 2 weeks of stuff to talk about. Yeah.
Exactly. And neither of those weeks has been the most eventful, but, over a couple of weeks we get plenty of things to talk about.
Yep.
Look, I can't not talk about the game first. Because
you've been playing a lot, right?
Yeah. We were talking about what to do before the show, and, oftentimes we do results first from tournaments, but, I just...
Go ahead. Look. I have basically done nothing with Uniel right now. Under Night in Birth, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
I mean, because after the show, you're going to try to help me get a copy of it.
Right.
I haven't touched it yet. I've looked at, so if you guys get a chance, go to brokentier.com, go to their blog page, and they have a little summary of, they kind of did this for... was it Guilty Gear they did it for, or they did it for another game as well?
I believe it was Guilty Gear.
Yeah, where they did like a summary of what all the characters are like.
Yeah.
So they did that for Uniel, and I've been looking at that a little bit, but I only got through like 4 characters. I haven't had a chance, so...
Yeah, so it's Under Night in Birth, EXE Late. You just said it might be Latte.
I don't know. I call it Latte because it just...
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
How is it actually spelled? I don't even know.
It's Late.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it's not pronounced Latte, okay? Because the name means nothing to me, so who knows. But anyway, I really like the game. The game is a blast.
Okay.
If you don't have much experience, people think of it as like an anime air dasher game, right?
Yeah.
To the extent that means anything, it doesn't apply quite so much to this game. I was watching the Broken Tier stream earlier today.
Oh, that's right. I missed that.
And Kuki described it as the most Street Fighter-y of any anime game that he's played, and I totally.
What I've been reading so far is that it's very footsie based, right? Yeah. It's not like you can't air block everything unless you use the special guard, right? So it's very ground based.
It basically has like Alpha 3 anti-airs,
right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very ground-based, and there are certainly characters that go up into the air, and they have like a hover or a fly or something, but for them, and characters have very important little hops, there's a little toward D hop that you do, that can be really important, but it's much more, even in those cases, much more grounded than a lot of others. There are a couple characters, like I said, that have kind of air mobility and stuff, but it's not kind of the norm of the game.
Right. It sounds like Darkstalkers-ish to me.
It's maybe not quite as frenetic as Darkstalkers.
Okay, so it's even slower paced than Darkstalkers then. Okay.
When you come to the mix-ups of it, it can be pretty fast, certainly. And it's never a slow game, but it's not like Darkstalkers. Darkstalkers is really fast.
Okay.
So it's not quite there. Somebody says the developers said the game takes a lot of influence from KOF. You can see that in there. I mean, it's not quite KOF level jumpiness, but it is certainly, it's more than Street Fighter, but it's at the same time it's less airborne, less jumpy than a lot of air dasher anime games.
Where you spend the majority of your time in the air for a lot of those games.
It's certainly much less than Marvel, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So as a result, for me, it's much more easily approachable.
Okay.
When I play games like that, I tend to even pick the characters that don't have that mobility. So it's not. I rarely have a character that is all about moving around very quickly. That's not
Tiger syndrome.
Yeah, Tiger, right? Exactly. Yeah, right. So as a result, it's easy for me to get into with respect to kind of how the general game flows and how the spacing game sort of works. But then beyond that, the characters are really interestingly done.
Okay. Cool.
Each of the character designs, I think, is really interesting. It's one of the few games that's come out recently where I find myself interested in most of the characters. Where if the game didn't have Waldstein, fine, I'd play Batista. If the game didn't have Batista, fine, I'd play Hilda. If it didn't have that, I'd play Merkava. Like whatever.
Okay.
That's not common for me.
Right.
I usually have like a set kind of couple of archetypes that I want to use, but I feel like there's more available to me in this game, which I really, really like.
How many characters are in there total?
Not a ton. I haven't counted. I'm sure somebody in
12,
chat knows
12
exactly.
To 16 or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely in the mid-teens, low teens, something like that. So it's not terribly tough.
I mean, it's interesting because some people are saying if you jump, you get bodied.
Sure. And if you're in some matchups, you'll get bodied. If you jump on my Waldstein and I have you at like 5B range, you're gonna take 4K damage.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we're not gonna talk about a lot of
stuff.
We're not gonna talk about a lot of game systems right now because obviously we're gonna try to do an O'Neill episode next week on Monday. We're gonna try to do the first attack / level 3 focus thing where we go through the systems and the characters like we normally do.
Exactly.
But even having established that grid system is really interesting. So, I mean, if people don't know, I've watched the tutorial, the system tutorial, which basically you build little Evo logos, it looks like, you know. But as you keep building, there's like a timer that keeps going, and every time it finishes, whoever happens to be the lead for this grid system gets a power-up and special bonuses.
Right.
And it just resets every time it goes around, right?
That's right.
That's just really interesting. It's such an interesting idea.
It really is.
And one thing that I like about it is it's very gamey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's like no logic to it. There's like no, like, they didn't try to go, oh, here's this meteorite that powered them up. So they they're just like, here's just this thing.
Yeah.
This is just how it works.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree with that.
It's very gamey, and I like that. And it produces this very interesting, because I can see how it makes it so you have to be more aggressive, and it's scarier.
It does,
yeah.
but at the same time, it produces some really interesting decisions. So, for example, if I get a hit into a knockdown, maybe I have the opportunity to pressure the opponent. Great, but maybe I also have the chance to charge D and build up my little grid at the same time, because it's just about to finish the rotation. So and if, as James says, if I do that, I'll get this little bonus, right? I'll do some more damage. I have some more options.
Right.
So you have to kind of play out in your head, like, is it more important for me to pressure right now, or to set up some spacing situation if I'm that kind of character, or is it more important for me to power up?
It's almost like everyone became Hakan.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and that's that's one thing that I really like about Hakan. I like that you have to. I like that you have to manage your decision making like that. Like, there are definitely times where you want to press and times where you want to oil up, but sometimes it's hard to tell which one to do.
Right.
And I think that produces really interesting decision making. And same kind of thing when it comes to the grid, or I think it's actually grind meter, but it doesn't.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I've heard it's supposed to be grind, but that
okay. Just like false Roman cancels are supposed to be forced Roman cancels, right? But whatever. Yeah.
No, I really, really like that meter system. So it's been really fun to play. I played a little bit of it live the first night it came out. Mostly just was watching other people play, but then I got it myself a couple of days later, and I've been playing a lot online. The online is great.
Oh yeah, I was just about to ask, how's the online?
It's really nice.
Okay,
it's really nice.
Cool,
yeah, I've been playing. So the max I think is 4 bars, or at least the max that I've seen is 4 bars. I don't know, but in any case, that's totally playable. 3 is totally playable.
Okay.
2 is playable. Okay, when you're getting down to 1 and 0. Obviously, stay away. But I haven't had any problem finding 4s and 3s. Okay. So
cool.
Yeah, and I'm just playing random ranked. It's not like I'm setting it up in advance specifically for the most part. So, very, very good, very good online play. I would say it's not KI level. I mean, I haven't even played KI, but everybody keeps telling me about it. I don't think it's like that. Occasionally, there's a little bit of lag, but it's not. Even
when I played KI, I would run into weird little hiccups every once in a while. To be honest with you, I think the thing that makes KI feel so good is literally that they're like everything, like except for manuals, is not hugely timing based, right? So it actually makes it a little bit easier. So
yeah, so learning the game has been interesting. You know, I'm playing a character for the most part who's good. This character Waldstein has a lot of range and he has a lot of damage and grapples.
Do you consider him Jewish?
He's probably not Jewish.
He doesn't look anything, frankly, but still. But the name is
the Waldstein family was a real family, but it's not a Jewish family.
Oh, really?
Like,
Okay.
Most people whose last names are Stein or Steen are not Jews.
Oh, because you tried to claim
people think of that as being like one of the Jewish.
Yeah, but you tried to claim Rugal at one point in time, right?
Yeah, just to check around. Sure.
No, anyway, keep going.
Bernstein is actually usually Jewish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Waldstein is not so much.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, this is the Jewish lesson for today for me. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but continue on about.
But anyway, so it's really fun to approach the game from that side with a good character, but and not terribly difficult to pick up either, especially if you have grappler fundamentals.
Right.
But there are other characters that, if you want to put the time into them, are very complicated. I'm trying to also learn this character Batista, who has bizarre inputs where you have to charge forward and then do back, or you have to she has up down charges, things like that.
Dang. Okay.
And you have to kind of manage it as you're moving around, and she can play offensively or she can play defensively. She's a really interesting character. So they have character designs that are kind of all over the place, which is great.
Cool.
So the reaction so far seems like it's very positive. A lot more people are talking about it than I would have thought.
Everybody seems to be playing it because, like, I've even heard people from the Marvel community trying to pick it up. People from Smash community are trying to pick it up and such. I mean, do you actually feel like some of this might have come from Blaze Blue at EVO being so incredibly ridiculously hype?
Maybe. I hadn't thought about that.
Right, because I mean, everyone seems excited, and a lot of people are picking it up. So I don't know, and it seems like this weird perfect blend between Street Fighter and anime games.
I really think so.
So it feels like it kind of fits right in the middle of everything.
Totally agree with that. I had no expectation that I would be interested. Okay, like literally 2 days before that. I didn't even know it was coming out. Like, I knew it was coming out around this time, but I didn't know the exact date. I found out about it, and I was like, I guess I'll watch a video. So I watched the tutorials that you talked about.
Oh, right.
There are tutorials out that have been subbed, English subtitles, right? That's what you're talking about.
Well, I guess we'll try to link them, at least on the YouTube video at some point. But
so I watched that, and I found out about this little grid system, and I thought that sounds pretty sweet. It just was very interesting sounding, so I decided I would check it out, and lo and behold, I really, really like it. And
you actually went through the trouble of getting it onto the PS3, and so hopefully, because it's only available in Japan right now.
Yeah.
Right, so it's only the Japanese version, but there's actually a lot of good forum posts that translate all the training menus and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good resources out there. If you are getting it, you have to have the Japanese PSN account, but again, there's good articles that show you how to do it. I did it for Blaze Blue and for Guilty Gear that one time. So,
yeah. So
it's
you
not
can
too
just,
hard.
if you're interested in doing that, you can literally just Google how to do it, and there are a few good posts on how to do that. You can also find out on dustloop.com, which is kind of also the main forums for it if you're interested in talking about it. So, people might be turned off, I guess, because it's considered an anime game, and it certainly has some of the stylistic tendencies of that kind of style. If that super matters to you, then I think that might be, and if it's a big turnoff for you, then I think that's kind of unfortunate, because the game itself is really worth checking out. The game itself just has really interesting gameplay, very interesting mechanics. I mean, I kind of feel bad playing it, because I sort of feel like it's this horrible racist parody of.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Where did this come from?
Dude, have you not seen the insane level of English involved?
Oh, okay,
it's pretty ridiculous.
Gotcha.
And so I kind of feel like, is somebody like, is this for real? Like, can this degree? like when you start playing, like the little characters coming by, right? They have these little paragraphs that talk all about them, and it's just total nonsense. Just word soup. Doesn't mean anything, right? So I mean, I'm sure it meant something, but then they just translated it and transliterated it totally wrong.
Dude, it sounds like it's one of those Backstroke of the West things. If you some people on there probably know what I'm talking about. It was the horrible the translation of the Chinese Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where "do not want" came from. The whole "do not want" meme came from that, because that was when Darth Vader stands up and goes "no," and it just says "do not want."
I didn't know that.
And that's where that meme came from. So,
yeah, it is kind of like that. It's pretty ridiculous. But anyway, that aside, graphics aside, the audiovisual work aside, if that is a turnoff to you, I suggest that you nevertheless check into it. Just give it a chance. The mechanics are awesome. It has a great spacing game. They're very interesting meter management, resource management. ideas involved.
That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to most because of that grid system, you know, building the Evo meter.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the whole thing. Because, I mean, it's not even just as simple as dashing forward builds the meter, dashing, but like how you use your shield guard, like certain you can just suck their meter if you stand there holding the D button and stuff. There's so many things that seem to affect it. Because I was watching the match. I was watching a match video from the Broken Tier site, and all I kept doing was staring at that meter and just watching it, how it goes up and down and stuff like that, just to see how people ended up using it. And it was confusing me at first because it would just go away and come up sometimes. I forgot if you backdash, you use up some of the grid and stuff like that. So I don't know. I love meter management stuff. Me too. And so this seems really interesting to me. It seems really cool.
For sure, for sure. And, you know, so the characters in it have a bunch of really crazy options. Yeah, I mentioned the character that I've been playing most. It's kind of zoning grappler character. But then there are characters, more than one character, a bunch of characters now that I think about it, who have full screen options. Like full screen normals, full screen dragon punch that a lot of characters have trouble punishing. That's like horizontal. And like when at round start, you just if the Gordo player wants to just do Grim Reaper, have fun. Some characters have like more invincible stuff.
So Gordo is the Grim Reaper character, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's seen the animated GIF of him swinging the scythe around and covering the entire screen, right? So
it's really good.
Nice.
But a lot of characters have just totally nuts options. So if you're interested in that kind of game where, you know, seeing one thing without the context of the other characters might make you think that it's kind of a broken system, kind of a broken game. But it's the same kind of thing that some other games are. Where almost everybody is so crazy that it sort of balances out to some degree.
Yeah, I do want to mention, some people are pointing it out, that you can get a physical copy. Because like I know Choice just got a physical copy, so I don't believe the Japanese version is region locked then. You should be able to play it on any machine. So if going digital is not your thing and you're willing to wait, you can find plenty of import sites and get the game. So yeah.
For sure.
Cool.
I strongly recommend getting it. I wanted to do, you know, the little episode that you talked about where we kind of walked through yesterday, but unfortunately I had made some plans some months ago that I didn't realize was going to be it for a Monday.
Dude, I barely made it home myself today. Like, I literally walked into the home like maybe like 3 minutes before you because I was stuck at work trying to get something to work, so.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess that's it for Under Night. By the way, let's call this game Under Night in Birth, or Under Night in Birth EXE Late, or the abbreviation UNIEL, or UNIB, or UNIBEL. It's too much.
Unibel.
Unibel.
Unibel. I don't know.
Under Night. I've been calling it Under Night myself, but that's too long for a Twitter hashtag. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, before it came out in America, I saw everyone referring to it as UNIB. And it was before it even just came out, period.
Yeah.
I saw it as UNIB, but then I started seeing UNIEL, and that's what confused me.
Well, so this is kind of the second version of the game.
Okay. So it is an upgrade then.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things about the game that's interesting to me is that we don't know how everything works yet. And I don't know, maybe Japanese people do and it hasn't been translated into English for all I know. But certainly I don't know everything, and when I ask people questions, they don't either. So it's fun right now to talk about exactly how things work. Last night I noticed something interesting about how grids seem to be working, and so I didn't have time to check it out. But today on Twitter, people were talking about, maybe it works like this, and other people had another theory, and then people would go and test it. So it's in that kind of a stage right now.
Yeah, I saw. I've been retweeting random. I guess some people are saying call it uni, because that's what Japan calls it. Uni,
really?
Uni or uni, I guess. But retweeting some random stuff about it as well. Like someone was discovering how you can turn A's into chain cancels without going into the auto combo. But then if you hit them, it causes you to jump cancel. So it's like on block it works, but if you hit them, you end up jumping.
Whoa, crazy. I didn't look into that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So basically, if you do like A and they block and you hold up back and keep mashing A, you keep doing that move. But if you hit him, since you're holding up back, it causes a jump cancel. But normally, if you're not holding up and you hit AAA, then you do auto combo, right? So, I don't know. There's lots of interesting things. I think Mike Z had an infinite that he just posted up with Waldstein. So.
Well, that's been known for a little while. Unless you got a new one. But
it's just one where he catches you and throws you in the corner over and over.
It does no damage,
again. Yeah, he says if you have a life lead, you can basically just run out the timer that way. But like I said, that sounds crazy and broken, and maybe it is. But a lot of characters have really crazy and broken stuff, so. for sure. So...
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for Under Night for now. Please tune in on Monday when we have a more thorough take on the game.
Okay, cool. So do you want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Okay, cool. We'll be right back, guys.